With us to unpack the findings in this report is Mr. Franco Terrazzano himself. Sir, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thanks for having me on.
So what are some of the key takeaways from the New Year's tax changes report, sir?
The key takeaway is that if you're making more than $40,000, expect to see your federal income tax bill going up because of those payroll taxes. But the pain doesn't end there for taxpayers in the new year. You're going to see higher carbon tax, higher booze taxes, even higher property taxes in many big cities in Canada. And really, this is the worst possible time for politicians to be reaching deeper into our pockets. Many Canadian families are struggling with these higher prices, but we also have to remember that many people lost their job, took a pay cut, maybe even lost their small business during this pandemic. So we should be seeing taxes going down, not up.
All right, Mr. Terrazzano, let's define what exactly payroll taxes are for our viewers.
Well, those are the mandatory payments that you have to pay into the Canada Pension Plan, that you have to pay into employment insurance. So this year, expect to pay about $953 into EI. That's a $63 increase this year. But for CPP, expect to pay about $3,500, which is a $333 increase this year.
All right, sir, and taking a look at the federal tax changes, besides the carbon tax and fuel regulations, what are the other major changes we should look for?
Well, let's talk about that carbon tax increase this year. So the carbon tax is increasing for the third time during the pandemic on April 1st of this year to 11 cents per liter of gasoline. But Trudeau's not going to stop his carbon tax hikes there. He wants to continue increasing his carbon tax until 2030, when that carbon tax will be nearly 40 cents per liter of gasoline. So just talk about Canadian drivers getting soaked.
All right, sir. And your report also notes that the alcohol escalator tax will rise. So what exactly is an escalator tax, and why should our viewers care about it?
Well, what that means is that taxes on our booze continue to go up year after year after year. So if you had a hard day at the job, maybe your kids are driving you nuts and you just want to settle back with a six-pack or maybe enjoy that bottle of wine with your wife or your husband, well, politicians are reaching deeper into your pockets there. Right now, taxes make up about 50% of the price of beer, about 65% of the price of wine, and about 75% of the price of spirits.
And I came across another interesting term in your news release for this report called bracket creep. What does this term mean, sir?
Well, bracket creep is such a sneaky backdoor form of income taxes, and it happens when politicians stop moving tax brackets with inflation, and inflation can automatically bump taxpayers into higher tax brackets, even though what we can afford to buy hasn't actually gone up. Now, provinces like Alberta, Nova Scotia, PEI, and even some tax brackets in Ontario are seeing their paychecks reduced because of bracket creep. In Ontario, for example, bracket creep can cost a taxpayer up to $132 this year.
All right, sir. Well, taking a look at the provincial level, are there any notable changes we should look out for when it comes to individual provinces?
Well, bracket creep is the big one, as we just discussed, for some of these provinces. But we also have to talk about municipalities. We can't let these councillors and mayors off the hook either, because there's many big cities where you're going to be seeing property tax increases in 2022. And these are so damaging. Just think of a few examples. Let's say you own a small business, maybe a gym or a restaurant. You may have seen your revenue evaporate, but you might still have to pay this big property tax bill. Or let's say during the pandemic, you may have lost your job. You may have took a pay cut. Well, you open that mailbox and there's a big property tax increase waiting for you there from your city councillors.
All right, Mr. Terrazzano, about 45 seconds left here, but do taxpayers have any positive tax changes to look forward to at the federal or provincial level?
There's just a little nugget in there for us. Fortunately, the federal government is increasing the tax-free portion of our income. So you're going to save about $89 there. But those savings are really dwarfed by the higher payroll taxes that you're also going to be paying that we talked about.
All right, sir, just a quick 30 seconds left here, but where can our viewers go to read this full report?
Well, you can find that at taxpayer.com. Just head over to our newsroom and you'll have all the information there.
All right, Mr. Franco Terrazzano, Federal Director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Always great having you on Forum Daily, sir. Thank you again for your time.
Hey, my pleasure, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.